Hey, what's up guys, it's your boy Trigger. Today we're going to be doing the Porsche 963. I'm going to be honest, this is not one of those saving best for last moments because the best really was the F1 LM, but this is a car that I've been very excited about ever since it leaked, because even though I'm not super into race cars like F1, NASCAR, and then even that Jaguar E1 car that we have, I still love the design of this car. And I do know that this is a Le Mans car. I don't know really anything about the sport, honestly. I'm very ignorant when it comes to the racing scene and stuff like that. I've always just been into racing video games that take street cars and turn them into monsters that do well over what they were meant to. But ever since hearing about this car back in, I think, November or even October, I decided to really build up my Porsche collection. So before I had heard about this car coming out, the only Porsche that I had was this 6-wide 911 Turbo 3.0. Me and this car have had a kind of rocky relationship. At first, I wasn't super into this car because I felt like it was very bland, but then over time I realized that it aged really well. It actually looks very similar to the real car. Back when I first purchased this car, I didn't do that very well with the sticker placements. This is back when I really didn't know much about Speed Champions at all. In fact, I think when I got this car, I didn't even know that there was a difference between 6-wides and 8-wides. I just really didn't know anything whatsoever. So when I heard about this, I decided to just go ahead and buy a bunch of Porsches because I wanted this thing to sit next to a bunch of Porsches. So then I went ahead and bought the green 911 Turbo 3.0, which I understand sounds stupid considering I already have a white one, but I really just wanted to give it that second chance that the white one never really got. So I don't know if you guys are able to see, but the sticker placement of these two cars, just if you look at any part, it's just all around better. So I really chose to just build up my Speed Champions collection just in preparation for this, because I didn't want to only have a 6-wide 911 Turbo 3.0 and then a race car. One that I was really excited for is actually this potentially Le Mans car. I don't know what racing genre this is from, but if you take a look at these two cars, I mean, they're very, very similar. So I thought that would be very fitting. We haven't really talked much about this car yet, so let's just go ahead and do that now. This car comes with 280 pieces, which for a car that is this sandwiched down is kind of surprising. It's a bit more than I expected. I am expecting this thing to be riddled with stickers, which is okay. I know that going into it, so it won't be a surprise when I run into them. The actual Le Mans car is a lot more bubbly in the wheel wells than this Lego version of it is able to express. So if you take a look at the back, you can really see it's got so many humps. And then when you take a look at this big picture, they really under-exaggerated it. They weren't able to grab those wheel wells and make them as big as they actually are. And in fact, if you take a look at the side profile, it's, I don't want to be too negative, it's a little sad. I don't think I'm gonna be too concerned with it. And in fact, I think I'm still gonna really enjoy this car. I do really like Porsches, and Lego Speed Champions has really helped me figure that out about myself. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and jump right into the first bag starting now. This car was kind of interesting because we used a chassis piece that is usually only seen in the 6-wide cars, which I thought was cool because this was actually a really good use for it. The way that they have you build around that chassis is strange for sure. So you build parts onto the chassis, and then the entire, not the entire back half that you see here, but most of the foundation of the back half, you build separately. And it goes like the back half all the way, you can see it best right here. These long flat plates go all the way up, and you build the side skirts alongside that. And then you surround the chassis with the back half that you just made, and you clip everything in together. But it doesn't just end there. The front half is the exact same way. You build all of this front part, and I'm trying to remember exactly where it ends. I think it ends at where these sloped pieces are, and you clip that into the front half of the chassis as well. And then you get some of these flat plates going which are, of course, where those are finished, and then we're going to build on top of this and on top of this over here. Overall, I do like the shape that we're going for here. Very strange build mechanics, and I like that a lot because you can tell that with this car, they're using a lot of building processes that we've used in the past that we liked, and they're also adding some new ones that we've never seen before, and I think that's really cool. The amount of stickers, pretty heavy. There are some sticker placements that are a little bit complicated and hard to get into the exact position that you want, but that is okay. I think I have it at least looking symmetrical, which is all I can really ask for. Overall, I love what they're doing here. Anything that breaks away from the typical format of first bag being the first half, the back half, and then second bag being the front half, I always tend to enjoy because it's different, you know what I mean? More often than not, we do see that format. So to stray away from it is always kind of exciting. All right, guys, we're gonna go into bag 2 and we will do something special. All right, guys, we are finished up with the Porsche 963. Having it near all of these Porsches just feels good. It makes me want to build up my Porsche collection even more because there are more cars that I don't have, like the 918 Spider and other ones, I'm sure. But if you take a look here, the spoiler, it's a pretty complex spoiler. Now, if you guys have seen the real Porsche 963, the spoiler's taillights are so thin that I would consider them like a technological miracle. Like, I know that that's probably, it sounds over exaggerative, but the taillights are literally in the spoiler and they're so thin, it's hard for me to wrap my brain around how they managed to even get that to work. So in Lego form, when you see that, obviously it's unsuccessful. That would be impossible to do in Lego form. The only way that I could see them doing something like that is if maybe they did a red 1x2 flat with, but I don't know how they would stand it up. I'm not a Lego creator, so I can't judge Lego for doing it the way that they did. There's not much about this that I can complain about, aside from what I did say in the beginning about the humps of the wheel wells not being curved enough at all. In fact, these are very flat. That is definitely a downside, but like I said, I knew that going into this, so I'm not disappointed about it. It's just, I guess, a limitation of Lego. I do feel like this might have been a case where Lego had a new piece, being those new wheel wells, and they got so excited to use them that they may have used it unnecessarily in this case. I do feel like the old wheel wells might have been a little bit better because they are, the studs would be right here, and then you could build pieces on top of that. And I feel like that would be a little bit more necessary for this type of car. What I really love seeing is, let's go ahead and take these Turbo 3.0s away. All of these cars have something really cool in common, and I think this is one of my favorite things about Porsche. This is kind of a standout. If you look, this is I believe a GT3 or a GTR hybrid. I can't remember. I think it might be a GT3 hybrid. The wing does say hybrid. The 963 says Porsche. The 919 hybrid says Porsche. This RSR says Porsche. And then my other GT3 says Porsche. I love that they do that with almost all of the Porsches. The 911 Turbo 3.0s, of course, don't, because they have their iconic spoiler that is its own masterpiece that I'm not even going to get into right now. I understand that this being an 8 wide, it looks strange, but all I can do is ask that we get some more Porsches coming out of Speed Champions. I do love the look of the race cars in this format, and that's like the only time that I'm cool with it. When it comes to F1 cars or the Camaro NASCAR, I'm not a big fan. I would much rather have these styles of race cars The RSR and the GTs don't really feel so much like real race cars, but they do have like the stickers and sponsorships and whatnot. So I am cool with those. The front, I try to get those stickers as flawless as I possibly could by getting them as close together as I could. And I think it turned out pretty good. There were some stickers where when I was placing them, I was like, I don't know if I like that. But looking back, I would say that everything came out just fine. Okay, so now we're going to rank this season. I am going to include the R34 because it did come out in January and it's obviously supposed to be a part of this series. Earlier I did talk about, I felt like this took away from the entire season, but thinking back, that doesn't really make too much sense. I do feel like this is supposed to be a part of this season, but they wanted it to be their, standout because they probably knew how hype everyone was going to be about it. I'm going to go from last to first place. And the reason for that is because we already know what my first place is. And if you've watched any of my other videos, you should know what my second is. So, last place, I was trying to think of reasons why not to say this, but honestly, it just is the case. The bias that I felt while I was making the McLaren Solus was solely because it was brand new and I was excited because I had gotten something new. Looking back, it honestly isn't as great as the Valkyrie. I was just really excited to have it. The way that I feel about cars changes all the time. My main problem with this car is how stripped away it feels. There's no detail. There's, some things here and there, like a little spring right here, the McLaren logo and these printed pieces. But aside from that, it really lacks detail. The white and orange and black is a great color combination, but it's not enough to boost it up. It feels like this could have so much more going for it in the design department. Like how the 963 is riddled with patterns and stickers, and that is something that takes a big place for me. I really like when a car is not riddled with stickers, but there's just character to it. And I don't feel like this has much character aside from being a race car. So what is going to take fifth place? I know that we just made it, and it probably sounds wrong, but honestly, I'm going to say the 963. If it wasn't for the lack of the curves in the wheel wells and the the spoiler not being completely accurate, it would be higher ranked. One thing I do want to let you guys know is if you place any of these cars, maybe except for the Solus, I don't hate it. But like I said, it does lack that character, and that is something that I dislike about it. If you take any of these cars and you put them in a different season, they would rank high, guaranteed. Like this during last season, absolutely would rank high. The F1 would take out any car, doesn't matter. Pin them up against each other, no shot, except for the F14 Scuderia. That's my baby. Pagani Huayra, again, first place, probably. The Competition, it would be high up there, I can guarantee that. The GTR, similar to the F1, would take out anything. So I hate to say it because we did focus on this car this video, and I do like it a lot. It's just that these, almost impossible to go against. So, fifth place. Up next is going to be the Ferrari Competition. It wasn't too hard to pick this car. I love the design of this car. The yellow stripe is really nice, and this really does feel like a modern touch on the Ferrari category, if you want to call it that. I've not always been the biggest fan of everything that Ferrari does, but there's no doubt in my mind that that this belongs in a high position. I understand we're middle pack, so, or at least the end of the middle pack. So it seems like this is low. It's not. This did really, really well for a Ferrari for me. Up next is going to be the Pagani Utopia. This car is incredible. I did a little bit of digging online. I found out that the real Utopia, a lot of people aren't a big fan of, which is okay for me because the Pagani Huayra and the Zonda, their legacy live on in my mind of what Pagani is. And I took a look at the interior of the Pagani Utopia in like a real life video, and it was absolutely stunning. The Utopia, some people are trying to say was rushed out, but if I remember correctly, I think the Huayra came out in 2016. So it's been 7 years since they last put out a car, it's hard for me to believe that it was rushed. So if people dislike the original car, it's okay to me because I'm looking at this car for its aesthetics. This car does not, I'm not gonna sit in this car, I'm not gonna drive this car. Whatever the aesthetics of the car looks like in real life on the interior, if people say that it doesn't feel good or whatever its specs are, I don't really care that much. I strictly base this usually off of aesthetics and what I think of the actual car itself. And like I originally said, I know nothing about the Utopia. However, I know enough about the Huayra and the Zonda for this to carry its weight. Now up next, shouldn't be a shocker, the Nissan GTR R34. If this car didn't exist in Speed Champions, this would take first over almost any car in my lineup. But unfortunately, it came out at the same time as the F1 LM, so it got knocked down a couple of points. This is one of the greatest looking cars Speed Champions has ever brought out, and I don't know how easy it's going to be for them to beat out this car or this car in the future. This is really, it's just, you're taking an icon in movie history and you're bringing it into real life through Lego. And many of us appreciate that. And of course, in first place, we have the McLaren F1 LM. This is one of the greatest cars that have ever been made, and the legacy that it, passed on. It's one of my favorites. It's a fan favorite for many. I love this car, and trying to think of things that I didn't say in the video when I originally made this is extremely difficult because I feel like I said everything I needed to about it. This is legendary. So first place, and like I said, if you pin this up against any car in my entire collection, it takes the cake. First place, easy. Like I said earlier, any of these cars you could have put against any other season and they probably would have been on top or near the top. This has been an incredible season, and I'm hoping the next season is similar to this one. That's all I've got to say. If you guys enjoy, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Hey, yo, what that rock say?